Let's go across to our guest joining us. Charu Pragya is from the BJP. Dr. Vishnu Prasad, Congress MP, is also joining us. CA Pradeep Bhati is from the Samajwadi Party. And Professor Geeta Bhatt will be with us in just a bit. Khalikur Rahman, leader of the BRS, is also joining us. Let me begin with Charu Pragya first. A lot of people would be wondering, and while of course you will say these are just speculations at this stage, this is not officially part of the agenda that the government has tabled. But if we were to take that the Women's Reservation Bill was to be tabled, a lot of hectic activity is taking place. Even as I speak, a cabinet meeting is underway. Why now, Charu?
So yes, Shivani, I'm glad you mentioned that, because as of now, all these extra bills which are continually being discussed are mere speculation. But I also want to state that the fact that women need reservation to be in the parliament, or that we have to work on putting together a quota, is something which has been a part of my party's manifesto for a very long time. This is something that we are committed to doing, not just women empowerment, but women-led empowerment. And we have started for that, started working towards that by ensuring that we are a political party and the only one in the country where we have a 33% reservation for women for party posts. And I think that has made a lot of difference, because women have a say and a place at the decision making table. Also, let's remember that parliament is a reflection of our society, and many a times the fact that the participation of women is lower in governance and in politics is also indicative of the fact that the participation of women is low, whether you're an architect, whether you are at a senior position in a news channel like yours, whether you're a judge, a surgeon, so on and so forth. And this is something that my government has been working on changing. We are working at the crux of the problem. So whether it is making sure better education opportunities are available, or whether it is making sure good nutrition is available to women, a longer maternity leave if you're a working woman, we are making an environment which makes it conducive for women to reach the highest echelons in governance.
No, but Charu,
this reservation bill needs to be introduced, and this...
No, one, because we're running those visuals that were coming in from the cabinet meeting, which is being chaired by the Prime Minister, and we'll continue to do so. The second question I want to ask you, before I go across to some of the opposition voices, Charu, is that, you know, the opposition is raising that point even today, that there's a lot of buzz about this could happen, that could happen, as far as the special session is concerned. And there is an agenda on the table, but everybody fears, and I'm using that word deliberately, that some surprise could happen, and the opposition certainly doesn't like the fact that they're not in the know of what could happen. The fact that there's a lot of buzz going around this bill or that bill, particularly the Women's Reservation Bill, don't you think that's not right? That if this bill was to be tabled, everybody should be aware of it?
Absolutely, Shivani. I'm in agreement with you. See, also we are a party which is very vocal about the Women's Reservation Bill. It's not that we've ever shied away from speaking about it. But the opposition is habitual when it comes to rumour mongering and fear mongering.
No, this is not just opposition rumour mongering. No. Charu, it's not opposition rumour mongering or fear mongering. And first of all, there is no fear mongering as far as the Women's Reservation Bill is concerned. But the point is that from the moment the special session has been announced, there is a lot of buzz first because there was no agenda. Now there's an agenda, but there is some out of syllabus, as they say, stuff being discussed. Why is it that the government doesn't give clarity? For example, today this news is big that a Women's Reservation Bill could be tabled. Why not clarify?
So, Shivani, first of all, let me make it very clear that the government has given an agenda for this session, this special session, and this special session is critical because it marks a transition in Indian democracy. We are moving from the old to the new. We will be entering the new building on a very auspicious day tomorrow, and that's an important part of the agenda. Even on a day like this, the opposition chooses to engage in negativity instead of rejoicing in the fact that this is where we have arrived as a nation. This is the journey that we are looking forward to making in the days and years to come. But instead of doing that, we have an opposition which is still continually rumour mongering. I'll get back to the Women's Reservation Bill. So, if this was being introduced, I'm sure it would have been on the agenda of the House. But that being said, the last time the agenda was given to the opposition, right, did they ever bother to engage in any of the voting, any of the discussions at all. They did not. They staged or walked out. They did not care that important business of the House was being conducted. This mattered to the citizens of this country. They couldn't be inside to vote for it. So now when you talk of out of syllabus, you are not even properly prepared when you've had the syllabus for a very long time. You'd rather not just
I'll come back. I'll now focus on the Women's Reservation Bill because that's fundamentally the issue I'm discussing today. Let me go across to Dr. Vishnu Prasad of the Congress Party. Now, the Congress Party has also been a long-time votary of a Women Reservation Bill. They've tried to table it under UPA and previous governments have done so. I've listed those occasions. You would fundamentally be in approval and also in support if the government was to bring this Women's Reservation Bill, even if it turned out to be a surprise.
Absolutely. First of all, I would like to answer our beloved friend from BJP. She made it very clear. The absolute agenda for this special session is moving from the old building to the new building. So, there itself the question of Women Reservation Bill will be introduced or not is a big question mark, and it is very clear. And second thing is, last session we were talking about, we are demanding for a discussion on Manipur issue, where the women are brutally killed, and you are talking about Women Reservation Bill. So when you when you didn't answer for the discussion, when you are not ready for the discussion about Manipur issue, then why are you talking about Women Reservation Bill? See, for Madam Sonia Ji, the flagship bill is Women Reservation Bill. In 2008 itself, it was passed in Rajya Sabha. And it was objected heavily by various other parties. And now also we are telling, we want women empowerment just by giving reservations. I am very sorry to say, what happened to our first citizen of India, Draupadi Murmu? Okay, you have elected her, you have chosen her as a president of India. We all appreciate and we welcome it also. She being a woman, and especially from a tribal community, we honor her. At the same time, what is the hurry for our Honorable Prime Minister to inaugurate the new Parliament building? Is it not right that her presence, leave that she inaugurates the new Parliament building?
Okay.
As a first citizen of India, she should have inaugurated it, but for various reasons, she was ignored. She was not even invited because she was not in India at that time. And hurriedly, after 2 months of inauguration, now only we are going to the building. Why? In a hurry, the Prime Minister has to inaugurate. This is the respect you give for women.
I get
in
that.
India.
I just,
BJP
Dr.
does.
Vishnu, I
Just
was
for
hoping that we can maybe
Shivani,
move forward from some of these points you have made, the Congress Party has made in the past, and speak about the Women's Reservation Bill. Now, the point I wanted to get from you was that even if it was...
seconds?
Yes, Charu, I'll come back to you. If this bill was to be tabled, and of course the historic occasion would be that a new bill would be tabled in the new parliament, this could be a historic decision, that's something that the Prime Minister alluded to. If this bill gets tabled and gets passed, will the Congress Party will be in full support of a bill like this?
See, first of all, let's see whether it is coming to the table or not, number one. Number two, for these 10 years, the BJP has been ruling. Why they kept quiet and they were mute on all these issues, on this important historic bill for all these 9.5 years? And now election time, they are introducing this bill. This is purely election gimmicks. And of course, if it is stable, then see, we have been, our main election manifesto is support the bill. You know, we want this women reservation at the parliament as well as in the legislative assembly. So, there is no question about it. But what my point of view say, very clear, this is for election gimmicks, they lost all the grounds.
Charu Pragya, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond so that I can go to my other guests after that. Charu.
So, the Honourable MP from the Congress Party talks about Manipur, but when the Prime Minister was speaking about Manipur, they staged a walked out. I don't think that was respectful, and then bringing it up now just exposes you for who you are. Now when you are also talking about elections, sir, remember we have elections in this country around the year. Every couple of months, somewhere or the other, we have elections. So please don't link every single developmental agenda to elections. It just sounds very feeble. Where can you not support something positive that the government is doing for once and not attach ifs and buts to it? Every single positive work of the government, it attracts unnecessary criticism, and none of this criticism is actually, of any value because it's not constructive.
Okay, Mr. Prasad, 30 seconds to you too. I have to go to my other guests.
Today what happened, when Honorable Prime Minister gave the address, was addressing about this historic 75 years in the Parliament building, for 90 minutes he was addressing, and we were all patiently listening to his monologue, because he never believes in dialogue or any questions from the other end. He never listens. A big leader, a good leader has to listen, but he failed in it. He is no decorum, zero manners, zero protocol, zero culture. See, after our Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, our leader, started speaking on this issue, he immediately walked out.